Hello, this is Nereida La Sirena with Celestial Soul Wellness, and thank you for watching. We're talking about the full moon in Scorpio. I know, trying to get myself adjusted here. My leg fell asleep editing my other videos. Okay, so we got stuff going on, and let's just say patience is on the menu. Okay, patience with a smile, patience with a tender heart and listening, patience and with ourselves and with others, patience and understanding that waiting is giving us a chance to reevaluate things and allowing us to grow. Okay, a lot of people want to just move forward because they feel like if they are not in motion, if they are not moving, then they are not growing, and then hence they are not being, or they have no purpose. And that's just not necessarily so, okay? In fact, it isn't so. Just because they're moving doesn't mean we are contributing or we are having a purpose. What it can mean is we're not really taking in what we have learned completely and thoroughly. And why I say that patience is on the menu for this full moon in Scorpio is because we got at least 4 planets in retrograde by then. So but let's start off with the Sabian symbol, okay? So the Sabian symbol is a house raising party in a small village and lists the neighbors' cooperation. Okay, so this is almost like a block party going on, and so when we have something like that, we are contributing. Everybody is showing a value. Everybody is contributing in the neighborhood. We are acknowledging that the neighborhood is going to create a certain protection, a sanctuary, safety, an awareness, even though they might not be the ones you invite over. In the olden times, when I say the olden times, or I feel like, what was her name from Friends? Phoebe? In the time of yore, okay, in the time of yore, we used to have neighbors were part of our extended family. And I know when I was a child, we used to invite the Trendas over. Okay, we had, oh goodness, I still remember them. Mark was the youngest, Tara and John Trenda, and their very tall father and their funny mother. And they would come over, we would go, or we would go over there. So, and you knew the neighbors. You said hello, wished them well, good morning. And when one asked, how are you doing? It was in earnest. And that's very important because in this time with Jupiter in Virgo, it's really about the local issues, okay? So this Sabian symbol is really connecting in a sense that Jupiter in Virgo with okay, the Scorpio of understanding, because when we're doing a house raising party, we had to get into that dirt and really, I did the gardening video earlier, and I didn't care what I looked like. My hands were dirty and I didn't even do my hair and just had the dirt in my nails. And I said, I'm just going to show it, because that is part of me. Okay. And so, but allowing and getting in, because you have to find where those pipes are going to go or the wiring, especially if we're doing wireless, outdoors, we're doing it underneath now. Um, and all those connections, the piping for the toilets, for the gas, okay. So, things with electricity, one has to really research what is the basis before we could put anything down there. And so that is what's also going on within ourselves, okay? So those people that we see on a daily basis, though lightly, maybe not often, are integral to us. They do represent. I know we went to go get for dessert Sunday. I was craving ice cream, so I dragged everybody to Thrifties, okay? And it's just more fun to go to Thrifties instead of opening up the freezer and pulling out the ice cream. Plus, I wanted a sugar cone. I know, gluten, but it's the only time I do gluten is on dessert Sunday. So anyway, the point is we arrive, and who parks right next to us was our own neighbor. It was like, oh, well, if we had known, we could have carpooled it, they're getting food for their dogs. And that left before us because they weren't getting ice cream. But it was interesting because we arrived before them, and after they're like, oh, we had a couple of stops, but you managed to arrive. So it was really nice to see the neighbors, which we hardly ever do, outside of the neighborhood. And it's nice to be acknowledged. And that's very important because with um, this full moon is affecting our sacral, our root chakra, our sacral, and our crown chakra. And I get more into that in the a second part of this programming. So let's get back into this full moon. So this full moon is happening at 3 degrees Scorpio. So anybody born around let's see, I always like to do this at the top of my head, keep me like this, right? So October, between October let's say 19 through the 25th, okay, give or take a day or two. Then we go to the other water sign, which is Pisces. So that's going to be, wow, that'll be anywhere from the 19th, okay, and all the way to the 20, 20, yeah, like around, give or take a day, 23rd, around there. Same thing with the water sign for Cancer, okay? It's going to be more beneficial, probably more emotional too, okay? Um, this is not a time to take ourselves seriously. Those who might have more obstacles are going to be your, since it is a fixed sign, or the Leos and Aquarians and Taurus that are around the 19th, okay, and 23rd, give or take a day or two from those signs. So that'll be the 19th, 23rd of July, and the 19th, 20. I was just like, wait a minute, I'm the 19th of July. Okay, 19th to 23rd of right there of we already said of October, then also 19th, 23rd of February, and then also of Taurus, which would be April. So those who are close to having birthdays right now, or mid-birthday. Okay, so now let's go back to this. So what's going on is Scorpio goes in, it plunges, okay, and it just wants to just grab everything, okay. They're the researchers. They are the and they are the ones who really try and find out and kind of like pick, like, does this really hurt? Does this make you smile? Let's see what's going on, okay? For their curiosity, sometimes they're not so aware of what they're doing in the process with other people by doing that, and causing such psychological and emotional scarring. But it happens, and they do have within themselves, okay, also, and they are willing to pick, okay, unless they have a lot of air sign in them also, then they probably won't. They're going to probably be in denial, okay. But going back to this, so let's just go real quickly. With that moon, we have a, I wouldn't even probably consider it. It's a Y conjunction with Juno, so probably not, because it's at 8 degrees. It's too wide for that asteroid. So let's go here. Okay, in my notes, we have 4 planets retrograde. So we're going to have Jupiter is retrograde at 14 degrees Virgo. Mars will be retrograde 9 degrees Sagittarius. If you're watching this before the full moon, do know that Mars goes retrograde around the 17th. Okay, so well, stationary, I should say. And so moving forward might seem like it's not happening. And Mars does rule Aries and also Scorpio. Okay, and it being in Sagittarius, so we get some frustrations going on. Okay, so Jupiter retrograde, we kind of indulging in our senses and ourselves right there, which is fine. and it's in Virgo, so it's a good time, to really get close to the earth and Mother Nature, Mother Gaia. And then also too is to with the Mars in retrograde and being in Sagittarius, is taking that time to really do what a Sagittarius does. Get away. Be that Rolling Stone. If you have, car, go on a long distance drive by yourself with some good music and really reconnect. This is very necessary, a time to reconnect, most definitely. Okay. Um, Especially too, you have Ceres on the other side of that full moon there at 27 degrees Libra. So really trying to balancing ourselves and grounding. Okay. So with that, at 9 degrees Sagittarius of that Mars retrograde, it is conjunct Reiki. Okay, and a lot of people know that I like to include Reiki, being a transformational healer myself. It is very important. So taking that time to go within ourselves is really going to give us that opportunity to allow new energies in. And this is not to get into our head, okay? Oh gosh, I know some people start overanalyzing when they go into themselves. No, 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 no. This is not what I'm talking about. Stop, okay? This is to nurture yourself, connect and bring in outside philosophies and forces within yourself and reorganize and re-implement how you're going to use them in your everyday life. This is a time to let go of those belief systems that have been really hindering us, I should say, because I got to really learn to use the word us, because I say it as if it's not, it's all of us. A time of, that's hindered us. They were good for one phase of our life, but now we need to open up and see other phases, okay? Uh, certain foods or certain ways of eating were okay, and now it's affecting us. So, without realizing too, it could have changed. We have changed, and we're not implementing it the same or have those needs. And so, that is what Mars in retrograde is really giving us, that opportunity to see that and to put it into play and seeing how other ideas, perspectives, traditions, and customs can benefit us. Because when we are open, then we could allow ourselves to grow. A lot of times, and this is very important because the full moon in Scorpio is a very emotional time. And actually, I'm going to say moody time because Scorpio is known to be moody. So is Capricorns and Pisces. Okay, emotional is like, moody is and just brooding and just not allowing, really saying what's going on and identifying it and making everybody change because of it, and you don't know what's going on. It's I really say as a life coach, when we are being moody, we are terrible leaders because we want everybody to guess what's our problem and to adjust accordingly. So we're terrible leaders. We're being very selfish and arrogant and egotistical. And we need to get over ourselves during that time because it is not everybody's purpose to automatically adjust just because we have an issue. And everybody always has issues. We always do. Oh my goodness, okay? And even life coaches have issues, most definitely. Um, but the key is we're gonna adjust and say, hey, this is what would be great. This is what I would like. If you can't do it, I understand. On your merry way, I'll go on my merry way. Okay. The key is in relationships is really trying to make those issues compatible and workable, and can we and guide others how to work with us in those issues. Okay, so now with that, knowing that Saturn is retrograde, okay, so it is conjunct, it is a wide conjunction because it is an inner planet with an outer planet, and being Mars with Saturn, that 7 degrees is allowable and still considered a conjunction. Okay. And some people might say, no, it's going to be 5. I'm going to allow it. I see it already in people's lives. So I'm not going to say I'm allowing it. I'm going to include it, I should say. Okay. Who am I to allow it, let's include it. I can laugh at myself. Um, and let's include it because it is also telling us to be practical within those belief systems of what's going on and to see and implement and learn from them. Okay, what can we learn? This is about an inner learning, and this is a time that we need to nurture ourselves and not get upset because things have happened or there's lessons to be learned. The faster and more open we are to realize that life is not how we want it all the time, and it's not the only way going to be the way I want it or what I was taught. And the faster we implement it and adjust and be flexible, then it doesn't have to hurt. These lessons don't have to hurt. Okay? I mean, goodness. This is also too is dealing with certain issues regarding authority figure because it's being retrograde and with Mars. There's a sense of understanding that certain authority figures in our life, maybe it was your mother or your father or a certain boss, you know, um, understanding their point and maybe why there was that rebellion going on with you, and but understanding their point and their well intention, that they were only doing what they knew, okay, for our protection and safety and guidance, trying to do what was good, or maybe for their own personal agenda, it can be, but if we put ourselves in their environment, even as a child, we chose them, okay? As a healer, we always say that, so, okay, I know. Thank goodness you didn't tell me as a teenager. I would have been on the other spectrum on that. But it is a time of understanding that, all right? And realizing, a good example of this would be I saw the movie Queen just last night, and it depicts Queen Elizabeth II and mostly her, how she did, how to adjust with the death of Diane and dealing with the public and working with the public and understanding. And she does say something different, something interesting, I should say, with her mother. And this is something we need to take on with ourselves. She's talking with her mother, Mummy dear. She's like, it seems that the world is changing. And the mother is saying, hold fast, you're this and that. She goes, but wouldn't it be better if we understood, you know, and adjusted? The mother's like, no, they need to accept that things are this way and that way. And it really shows, then you had Tony Blair, the Prime Minister, Michael Sheen, who played him, is trying to guide Queen Elizabeth. And what I'm saying is, um, we have this going on. Reiki is trying to, it's like Tony Blair in the movie, okay? And then the Queen is, kind of like the Mars in retrograde. They're in Sagittarius, okay? And the Saturn is both her husband and the mother's like, no, 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 things cannot change there. And also Mars, I would say, would represent very well her son, and Charles in this case, how they depict him in the movie. Okay, so and it's very important in understanding and being able to apply that. It really helps. Okay, now also understanding that because we still got that mutable T uh, triangle going on, trine, and no, is it square? There's square there, mutable T square. Sorry, duh. Okay, I'm so harsh on myself. We have the Jupiter there in Virgo, and so remember Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and it's hanging out there in Taurus. So there we have a nice balance, and we're going in. It's retrograde, and again, it's about finding our roots, how we are nurturing ourselves, how we are in giving it the harvest too. When we give in the harvest, um, what is I love eating fruit, and earlier I did an alkalizing food combining for fruit video for one of my quickies, and I always share my cookies with you guys. Okay, I know. Um, but it's something to really, it says to enjoy the fruits of our work, And this is something very important that I'm also going to add too is a time to be joyous, yet be practical, because it's about abundance and enjoying ourselves. Jupiter rules Saturn. So even though we're going into ourselves and really dissecting and rearranging, there is still that need to enjoy and be part of the universe and be part of the world and share. And that's very interesting because I know I grew up when I was younger. If you smile too much, it means you were irresponsible. If you're having too much fun, you are not going to go anywhere in life. We had those people who took the pictures. Okay, it was just like, ugh. Um, I know that I used to work with a friend once when we were, not once, but for a while in public storage. And when we were doing that computerized accounting customer support, I think it was called computerized accounting, I can't remember. We were late teens. And she's like, get back to work, get back to work. And I'm like, I'm done already. And it's like, how are you done if you've been joking and this and that? And I've always tried to really make work fun. And this is something too that just because we're rearranging ourselves or we're trying to have an outcome that is, of importance to us or maybe to other people, it doesn't mean life cannot be fun. We have to focus on all the good. If we're always focusing on all the bad, heaven help me, I'll become suicidal. But I wouldn't. I love life way too much. The point is really focusing and being grateful. I mean, the more we're grateful for things, okay, I'm grateful for a wonderful home to be living in. I'm grateful for, Mother Gaia, also known as Mother Nature out there. And I'm so grateful for, the support of my family and friends and all the love that comes into my life. And I'm so grateful for you guys. And I'm just, always mentioning that really is what we're doing is that Jupiter in retrograde, we're harvesting then. When we are showing how grateful we are harvesting, okay, and appreciating and sharing it with others. And that is that Jupiter in retrograde in Virgo is very necessary to do because then it'll change our perspectives. And then when we change our perspective, life is even easier and we implement it. And that's going to help that Mercury in retrograde in Sagittarius with that Saturn in retrograde in Sagittarius, knowing that there's certain times we need to be what they call dignify. I call it stoic and marble-like. Darling, do not smile too much. They might just think we're alive. Uh, um, Two is that's a way of people do that because they're trying to protect themselves because they fear that if they're enjoying life too much, something's going to knock them down. And I mean, life is a roller coaster. There's times we're going to, even on a roller coaster, we feel our stomach is still up there, okay? But we have to know that we need to be flexible. And yes, things are not always going to be good, but if we, people are going to leave our lives, and we need to really, really know that we have spent quality time with them. Things are not going to always go our way, but it's because maybe our way was ridiculous, it was unnecessary, maybe it was just ego driven. Um, Maybe it was just a bad way, okay? I mean, straight out honest. And it happens. We just didn't think of another way. Okay, we resorted to something we thought from before. So we need to be very open with that. Okay, and then having that Neptune, wonderful that Neptune's not a retrograde here, is opposite of that Jupiter, just making sure that we see clear. In this case, they say it's going to be nublious, but at the same time, everything is watery, and we might not see everything clear. We're almost going to be like since anybody who have astigmatism can relate to this because they're already seeing life like that. And when we start seeing things as it is, it's like, oh, okay, but it's only is according to our perspective. So Neptune here is giving us that opportunity to change that perspective with the help of Jupiter. Okay, hence then allowing our emotions to take place. Okay, so here again with that trine we got Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius saying new perspectives are necessary. All right. Okay. And in dealing with those new perspectives and applying it, those new philosophies and belief systems, we are then going to apply it with that Jupiter in Virgo. And so we're sowing, and then we see the harvest and we're pulling it out. And when we see how wonderful the harvest is, then it's going to affect that Neptune in Pisces, and we're just like, ah, okay, because we're just so ecstatic. And we are now changing that harvest and that appreciation and gratitude to our higher frequency in our feelings, because our feelings, we actually physically change according to our feelings. Our feelings are frequency, vibration, energy, and we are all energy. We are a out. The outer of us is what we are in the inner. Okay, and when we have that inner and it just vibrates on the outside, it's just wonderful and shows. And so that Neptune really is that higher connection. Remember, Neptune is that higher octave of Venus, of just really allowing us to connect and bring up that energy, and just be part of that universe, and remembering how, what an integral puzzle piece we are, no matter how tiny, to the universe. Okay. I mean, as just we are, I know, you know, even if you have no one else in your life and you have plants or pets, okay, or if you feel like you're in a cell somewhat, only you can change that experience through that inner. And we've all had sadness, but it can come about. But this full moon has more than that, so let's share more, okay? So we have uh, Chiron, I wanted to mention, is sextile a Mercury. Okay, Chiron being 24 degrees Pisces sextile there with Mercury at 22 degrees Taurus. And so it really is opportunity to express and heal. If you want to explain it to other people, go ahead, but some reading, music, some singing, but expressing those feelings and that higher energy is so necessary and wonderful at this time. So really go for it and partake in it, okay? Um, that'll really help that energy really vibrate and manifest and realize things, okay? Just so I know, the sun has gone into Taurus. And so with the sun in Taurus, this is a really sensual time, not sexual, sensual. We are indulging in our senses, the way things feel, the way things sound, um, the way things we see. We are enticing and we are including, and we are really involving all our senses, the way things taste. I know I'm drinking yerba mate right now, tea. Mm. And I like my teas without sugar. It took me a while to learn back in my 20s, and then I went to stevia, and now I just like, and I can appreciate the purity of it, and just so. And then just like when you're drinking alkalized or spring water compared to purified bottled water, you know, you're just really indulging, and you can really feel, okay? Um, so those enticing those senses is really going to be fun at this time right now. Let's see here. We have a mod, just so you know, even though it's at 29 degrees Aries, it is right there conjunct the sun. And so there is that need to push forward with amor, but amor is one of, wow, your company is awesome. It's not of a need. It's not querer. You know, that's why it's not called querer. Yeah, love in Spanish is not, we call love, well, el amor. We don't say el querer is want, okay? Almost like a desire. And so, in remembering too, amor comes, the word in its etymology comes from the Arabic when the Moors brought it over, and we're over for about 700, 800 years in Spain, okay? Any words starting with AM there in Spanish or AL. Well, I'm not going to give you The foreign language teacher in me almost came out. Oops, sorry about that. But anyway, so realizing that we still have a Uranus at 22 degrees Aries, and it's conjunct Venus. So anything and everything is possible of breaking up. Okay, a lot of love relationships, especially if you are having anything there, 20, 21 degrees in a cardinal sign or in a fire sign, okay? And so there could seem some kind of breaking up, readjustments needed, frustrations. That is also the conjunct right there with Saturn, okay? In Sagittarius. Did I say conjunct? No, I'm sorry. I meant trine. Shame. My mouth went faster than my brain. Trine, because they're both fire signs, all right? And so there is that, it might be sudden, and yet at the same time, there needs to be what's going on is there is an asking of let's in love to let's create some kind of balance and root and rules almost that we both can live by. And what's happening with that is that means both people or both groups or both anything or all three or four who's ever involved in the relationship has to take a step back and say, these are what my needs are. I'm going to teach you how to fulfill those needs. What are your needs so I can help you fulfill your needs? Okay. And so, and then deciding if they're bearable, if one can, because sometimes not. I mean, if someone told me, I enjoy being a woman, but if someone said, from now on, I want you to, I'm going to be extreme, okay? So I apologize, but it's going to prove a point. If I, to use the bathroom as a man does, standing up, and not removing your pants. Unless you got a long tube and a funnel, it isn't gonna happen. Okay. And so sometimes be like, sorry, I'm out. I tap, I'm out. Okay. Certain things we have to accept that we cannot do, and it's just not gonna happen and say, sorry, it's not me who can fulfill that position. All right. And it's not a rejection, it's an acknowledgement of what we can and what we cannot do, of our limits and boundaries. And so there's also that need to love ourselves because Venus is in Aries, and Aries, it is a me person. I mean, it's a me sign. And so it's about loving ourselves, but understanding ourselves too. Okay. And creating that grounds of saying, well, um, am I arguing because I'm having, am I arguing a lot with other people because they are not understanding me? Well, am I appropriately and willingly guiding them on how to understand me? Or am I just demanding that they know me? Um, am I arguing a lot because I'm not willing to understand and accept the other people in the group? And I just want to focus on me. So we need to understand is Sagittarius is a very outer, all about the universe, and Aries is all about me. And so we're battling it there, and it's time to bring it together. Okay. Now remember, we had a lunar and solar eclipse just a month and a half ago, and so things haven't settled yet. Okay, not at all. And are coming more into fruition as we see, especially during those retrograde times, because during this time too, you know, um, squaring in that conjunction of Venus with Uranus and Aries, we have Pluto, which is bringing up, like we didn't have enough things coming out with Scorpio, right? Because Pluto rules Scorpio, and here we have the full moon there, and it's retrograde. We're having more things coming up dealing with authority figures and conservative ideas and traditions and customs, and yet we're trying to implement new movements and connecting with the universe, this 5D, okay, the fifth dimension. And where am I standing in all this? But what about me, okay? And that's what more or less is going on. And one has to say, well, can we? Do you want to be left behind? Can you adjust yourself? Are you going to give up? You know, people have a right to react. You can react. It doesn't mean your reaction is correct. I mean, logical, okay? Um, if you react in an angry way or in a sad way, it's because you're being fearful. It doesn't mean that your fears are substantial and accurate, okay? And that's something very important. If a person, if we are a person who, I know I'm trying to not say you anymore, I'm trying to say we, okay? If we are a reactive person, check yourself and say, why am I behaving this way? What am I scared of? Why is it, why do I feel threatened by this? Okay. Um, you know, I don't like to sleep with the screen open when it's hot. Well, simple matter of fact is because I don't like the flies coming in. I don't like the flies coming in or the gnats because I don't want to swallow any of them when I'm sleeping. Okay. It could be such as something so ridiculous as that we're fearing and and maybe if we can express that and not worry that they think we're off our rocker, maybe they have an awesome solution. Okay, we'll leave the screen open. I mean closed then, but we'll leave the glass door open. Okay, or the door open. Oh, okay, so we can still get the night fresh air in there. So those are things that need to really come to terms and understand anytime we are angry, okay, and fearful, it's because, there's something that we feel that we cannot handle. We haven't come up with a better solution yet, okay, for adjustment. And that is really necessary during this time, is really taking it easy. So I'm going to go back to what I said before, having patience, taking it easy with ourselves is very, very important. And taking it easy with others, having patience with others, nurturing them during this time. Really use that Neptune and Pisces and really feel for them and be supportive. Okay, so this is Nereida La Sirena with Celestial Soul Wellness, and we're changing the website. Well, we're not changing, but we're doing a massive changes with it. I'm so happy with my buddy there. He is awesome. Okay, and got to give props to him, Ray Ray. Mm, okay, and so uh, tell me also what you think. We're thinking of doing a link like CSW for those of you who like acronyms, okay, to the Celestial Soul Wellness. And if you have ideas, go ahead, share them with us because we're in the planning stage. Everything is retrograde, okay. Anyway, Chelsito, please stay tuned for the individual zodiac forecast. Hi, I'm back. Hi, I'm back. Anyway, so I got need my oranges and refill on my yerba mate here. Mm. We're for the individual zodiac forecast. Now, I would like to bring into awareness that we are not just only our sun sign, okay? We are much more. And so, but it would behoove us to, I remember saying us, behoove us to not just, excuse me, the water with the tangerine. That was so ladylike. Anyway, that to behoove us to also watch or listen, read whenever we're doing following the zodiac individual forecast is not just our sun sign, but our moon sign and also our ascendant sign. Okay, and if you're born on the cusp, I throw that in there. Some people even do the um, north node. Okay, all right, but just listening to your sun sign is not going to give you a really, really good grasp of everything going on, okay? Also be aware too that others are not just their sun sign. So sometimes you say, but oh, there's Scorpio, I'm a Pisces, we're supposed to be, hey. It's like, no, okay? So be aware of that. Let's see here. There was something. I'm going to also mention about the Mars retrograde where it's affecting, okay, which would also be the Saturn retrograde, okay. And I'm adding in the Venus-Uranus conjunction, okay? So here we go. Okay, so Aries, yes, you always get to be started first. Everything we talked about, there we go, from the beginning, okay? It applies. So the full moon is happening in your 8th house of transformation. It also could be, tax season was ending. So maybe you've had to pay something or a joint account. And I feel like I hugged my cat earlier, sorry. Um, and some kind of transformation and ending of a payment, a loan, a joint account of some sort, a financial, um, with someone else. This is also a time, it could be a transformation, the way you're going to interact intimately with others, your energy, okay? Also, too, with Mars in your ninth is okay, so with Mars in your retrograding in your ninth house, taking that time to really see and adjust new perspectives of society, belief systems, to even go back, maybe go back to school and take another class would benefit you and behoove you, or do some traveling by yourself to further distance lands, okay? And you're having opportunity to reconnect with yourself and really be careful, because you don't want to, if you move too quickly, Aries, you're going to hurt yourself, your head, something with your eyes, okay, the feet, just take it easy, okay? You're a fast reactor, and to really, because I mean that's the way you're a defender. And by really taking it easy, you won't need to do that so much. And there's less physical risk then. So ground yourself tremendously so none of that will happen. Okay. All right. Moving along to Taurus. We have Taurus. This is all, oops, this is all happening in your full moon is happening in your 7th house. And so in your 7th house of partnerships, any kind of committed partnership, you are having a change happening. The way you are willing to interact with others, the way you need them to interact with you. What is it that you're willing to give and to join forces with, to combine your energies with, and with Mars retrograding in your 8th house, that's very even more so true, because financially, are you going to go back and recombine with someone that wasn't being as thoughtful and cooperative, but were you also, and have things settled, have things cleared up, or are you now like even just saying, well, I guess I'm going to bite the bullet? What are the reasoning behind that? Have the adjustments been made? Can they be made? And then looking too is where that Venus and Uranus conjunction is happening in your 12th. So, is it you're going back, and is it a secret affair that you're going on, or secret combining, going into business secretly? Or hush hush, and why it doesn't need to be hush hush, and why can it not be out in the open? Okay, so is it actually behooving you and healing you in a way, or is it putting you behind? So really consider that, because Taurus loves sensuality, and make sure that it is really, really helping you and endorsing you, right? And really uh, being of positive rapport and energy for you. Okay, so now let's go to Gemini. And Gemini, these changes, this full moon is happening in your 6th house. Your 6th house of everyday life, of people who work with you, support you, your assistants, your health, okay? And so taking that into consideration, and knowing that things in your everyday life need to change, okay? What's been going on is not healthy. Taking on a new introspective uh, respect for yourself, and realizing what it is you need done. Why is it also that what's been going on in your everyday life is not healthy for you? Okay, is it because you don't understand those energies and you haven't asked yet? Say, hey, you keep wanting to do this. I have a cat, and I'm going to give you an example, Gemini. And cats are different than humans, all right? And there's times they need a spray. Well, I don't like it when he sprays our little kitten. Well, little kitten, he's 1 year old, but that's like a teenager in cat years. Sprays when he sees another cat outside when he's next to the window, okay? Because the smell is very strong, right? But I understand that. So I have to adjust. He's a cat. Cats do that. I'm a human. I do this, but I have more ability to adjust myself, okay? I could say you're only an outdoor cat, but we don't want him only an outdoor cat. At the same time, I have to take and do certain measures so that way he doesn't spray certain areas anymore. So taking all that into account, we must for our lives to see what is it that's bothering us and why is it bothering us, okay? What is it in our health? Are you drinking enough water during this time? Very important. Go take a walk by the beach, okay, Gemini? Get away. Just go and be by yourself. It's a time where you need to, because Mars is retrograde in your house of relationships. So you really need to think about what it is you want in this relationship that you're in. It could be a business relationship, but it's a committed relationship where there's an agreement. Do you really want this or isn't? Are you creating stability for yourself? I know you don't like to be bored, but no one's here to entertain you. The more things you learn, the more things you involve yourself in, then you will never be bored and need to rely on one person for your entertainment. Okay, so this Venus with Uranus conjunction is happening in your 11th house of friendship. Oh, hi there. Talking about cats, friendships and goals. Okay, so things are changing too because you are understanding you have to change. These changes are happening where you need to understand, what is it you want in life now? You want it a certain direction, or is it too vague? And if you don't get that, then what are you going to do? What is plan B? What is plan C? And really take that into consideration, okay? So, let's see, moving on. Cancer. Ragnar's saying hello, Cancers. You guys hear him? Okay. So, Cancers, these changes, this full moon is happening in your fifth house of entertainment, romance, children, fun. So, you're going to leave something behind, or you're going to indulge in more, and it's going to take an effect with your health because Mars is retrograding in your sixth house. And in that, really taking effect of how your health, what's been going in your health, and saying, okay, I really need to make these changes. Saturn has been in your sixth house of, health already, and people assisting you and all that. And you've needed to make some changes, but you've been lazy, or has it been convenient, or it's been a Linus pillow, or no, blanket, right? Linus from Snoopy, blanket for you. Okay, but what is it that you're fearing that you're not going to have, and why is it that you're not going to go for it elsewhere as opposed to doing that and staying healthy? So those are things to really consider, okay? And to break free, allow that vulnerability so you could get healthy. And by doing that, you're opening yourself up for more fun, okay? Just understanding your limits and boundaries, and also knowing too that Venus and Uranus conjunctions happening in your 10th house, or yeah, 10th house. So you're having perhaps a new authority figure, a new profound respect for authority figure, understanding either coming into your life, leaving your life, or you yourself are becoming that authority figure, the way you're displaying yourself in public, and the way people see you and appreciating you, okay? What's up, Ragnar? I'm recording right now. I need to continue, okay? Okay, I think we got it. All right. So, Cancers, really take that time to try and if fun is leaving your life, or if you're getting ready, your child is going away to college and all that. This is opportunity to look at for something more for you, all right, and to enjoy yourself. So let's move on to Leo. Leo, this is happening in your fourth house. On my pen, I gotta write the time. Maybe I can see. There we go. In your fourth house, okay, of home, your actual abode, edifice, and who you are here, okay? So, this, maybe someone's leaving behind, you're downsizing, you're doing spring cleaning and cleansing things out and getting rid of things that you no longer need. Um, and then Mars is going retrograde, and I know or things could be coming in. I know I received plants, okay, and I'm within the full moon time span here, so for me plants are like my little babies too, and it's giving to the house, okay. So oh, hello there. Hi, you want to say hi to the camera? Say hi. Ragnar wanted to make an appearance. Okay. All right, Leo's Ragnar is our Leo here. Actually, I think he's like a Gemini Taurus one there. So anyway, so you're having those changes, and it's giving you a chance to enjoy life, see what you need and want in life. Okay. And by bringing in a different kind of fun, you can include your children with that also, okay? And romance, bring romance into your life. When was the last time? Even if you're romanticizing yourself, put on some candles. I know some of you men are like, I'd rather go into a man cave. Well, if that helps too, put in some candles in your man cave, guys, okay? But put on some music and just really enjoy, you know. Also, too, is you got the Venus conjunct Uranus in your ninth house. So your opportunities to travel, maybe going to take a college class, furthering your degree, or traveling, getting to see different perspectives and ideas. But Leo, really going out there, it's something new. It's something you were looking forward to because, Saturn has already been giving you those ideas that things needed a change. And so now you're going to go and change it. It was just more or less that Mars saying, kicking it into gear. And then with that Venus, Uranus in your ninth house, to saying, all right, maybe I will go and get a degree in fun, okay, or whatever it is, but you're going to make it part of you, and that is a good thing. Everything, change is good, all right, change is good. So, Virgo, we are having a full moon in your third house of technology, communications, travel, getting around, neighborhood. What else? Wow. Uh, Primary teachings, cousins, siblings. So there is something that is being changed here and some adjustments needed. And you're seeing how it can bring you some positive energy into your life, okay? You could be taking a new class. You could be talking up with neighbors or finishing up a class, all right? And perhaps certain things that you were doing with your siblings, a project, or cousins have come to fruition, and then you're going to change, you know? So, those are different things. I'm sorry, I was just thinking of my Virgo cousin, and we were talking about certain things, and that popped into my head. So, but you have Mars retrograde in the fourth house, and so you're going back and taking some time for you. You need to spoil yourself a little, okay? And really, well, spoil yourself, really see what it is that you need, because you no longer, without knowing, I mean, do you remember your favorite flavor ice cream? Is it still your favorite flavored ice cream? Okay. I mean, goodness, you've adjusted yourself. You're very sign of service to others. I don't want to say submissive or subservient, but you really like to help and be of service to others. But what happens is after a while you forget who you are, let alone what you're doing for others, okay? That Venus Uranus conjunction is happening in your eighth house of other people's money, resources, other people's resources, and also of transformation, surgery, sex. So things are going on in which there is some kind of um, breaking away or coming together real suddenly, but it's sudden with other sources, with other people. So if you were relying on them, it might be something that you not too thrilled about, but if you weren't, then it's maybe something you wanted. Feels more like a freedom, especially with this full moon on the other side at the third house, okay? So of your communications and giving you opportunity to free yourself up a little, all right? And just, okay. Libra, this is happening in your Libra, this is happening in your second house, this full moon, in your second house of personal finances and your values. You're letting go. Maybe you're not going to take that job anymore, or that other source of income, you know, that you were using to get a little bit extra money. You decided not to do anymore. There's also a change in how you value things, what you consider your personal possessions, and getting rid of things and downsizing it. Okay. There's also the Mars retrograde in your third house, so issues dealing with your siblings, your neighborhood, communications, your traveling, even if it's short distance or just the car in general, okay, is going on. So having to know and understand that, and maybe it's because of that you're giving up and downsizing or upgrading. But a lot of it has to do because sudden things are coming into light from from the Venus Uranus conjunction in your seventh house of partnerships. All right, maybe things that you weren't aware of, but now you're going to move forward with it, and you have to deal with it for once and for all. Can't hide from it anymore. Okay, so that's going to help you to adjust and realize what needs to move forward from that. All right, we got Scorpio. Scorpio, and this is happening. Oops. Scorpio, ooh, I hear the breeze coming about. Scorpio, this is about, bringing into light what you didn't want to accept about yourself. Since this full moon's happening in your first house, it's about you, of really dealing with who you are, accepting certain issues. You had Saturn in your sign for 2 years and some months, and it finally moved forward into Sagittarius, and you thought that was it. It's now in your, if you're over 30, it's in your progressive first house. So it's still about you and trying to deal with those things that you don't want to deal with, because it's everybody else who needs to change, not you. But you guys are great in transforming yourselves and understanding and accepting that, yes, remember, let's look at it this way. The pants you are wearing now are not the same size pants you wore as a child. You had different phases and different styles and different girth and height. And so perspectives also need to change accordingly to who we are now. So it's to letting go and allowing those change has nothing to do with the ego, but having everything to do with realization of adjusting ourselves to the new changes or our new environment. Okay. And that would be the wiser thing to do, Scorpio, in understanding that and allowing those things to let go. Let go of certain fears and issues and move forward. Okay. Move forward. And Mars retrogrades happening in your second house. So of your personal finances and of your value system and your personal possessions. So you're getting, you're taking some time to really see what it is that's important to you. Do you really need it? Maybe it's just too much. You got over your head, and it's time to let go. Um, it was nice, it fulfilled the security, but maybe it is not necessary anymore. It's not a time to start new projects, but to let go of ones that you don't need or readjust them. Okay. Um, it is, you have Venus, I'm sorry, yes, Venus and Uranus in your sixth house of health, pets, assistance, so everyday activities. So things are changing in your life. You know you need to make those changes. It's best, since you know that there should be changes in your life. It's best that you make those changes now. Otherwise, it's going to happen to you, and it always hurts when it happens to us. Okay, so really take consideration. You might want to go back to something that you were considering, that you did for, since it has Mars retrograde in your second house, that you used to do, and I see, make some extra cash from it, or let it go completely. What does it mean to you? So consider those things. Okay, we got Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this is happening in your 12th house of taking some time out to rest, to take a breather. How many times are you taking a deep breath a day? We are supposed to be taking 10 deep breaths an hour. Some of us don't even do it a day, let alone, okay. So, I mean, really start taking it easy. You've been doing so much, and it's always appreciated. But it's a good time to get that massage. Go get, go to the beach and fall asleep out there. Okay, maybe under umbrella if you don't want to get burned or something. But just really reconnect with the universe and source, and take some time out to repose yourself, and that will help you feel good. Mars retrograde is happening in your first house, so certain things that you are going to go back to that you considered of yourself before, and make those changes, but it's about you, okay? Which is interesting because you had Saturn retrograde in your first house, so you knew you've had to tighten up, and you've had more responsibilities. Well, now how are you going to rearrange those projects and requirements? Okay, so do you need to have them? Can you let go? Can you have some help? How can you help someone to letting go of them, so that way that we can, everybody moves on? You have Venus and Uranus conjunct in your fifth house. So certain things happening with your children, fun, entertainment, romance is happening. It's neither good or bad. I think for you guys it's kind of good because it's an Aries, which is trying as Sagittarius for you guys. So certain things are going to come to light, that's going to bring more value to you, and add more appreciation, feel more valuable and appreciation. All right, so that's always a good thing. Okay, so let's see here. Capricorn, I'll write down the time. Pen is not warm enough. Capricorn, it's this full moon's happening in your 11th house of goals. Okay, you're letting go of certain things that just didn't work out. Um, you're not taking it personal either. It is what it is. It happens. It was a good idea. It's good to try, because if not, you would have never known. But it's time to move on from that. So we're going to let that go, okay? And and it's going to help you create new goals. Some friends might be leaving too because of that. And it's not that they were bad. It's just you're going to try and involve yourself, knowing you, Capricorn. Sometimes people are like stepping stools for you, or to make connects, right? And well, if they're no longer helping you in that direction, you try not to keep them in your life too long. Okay, so that's why your friends are changing at this time, and you're readjusting what it is that you need. And so being aware of that. You also have Mars retrograde in your 12th house. It's really time to take some time out for yourself and consider who you are, what you need to heal yourself, and find out how you got ripped up in the first place and opened up and hurt and all that. So that way it doesn't happen again. Not so you can wallow in it and muddle in it forever, but that way you can learn from it so it doesn't happen again. Know your limits and boundaries with that, and accept who you are. This Venus is conjunct Uranus in your fourth house, so things are going on in your home, probably in your body too. You've made those changes, and it's going to be sudden. It could be since it is in. Be careful with metal objects there in your home, and be careful too of electricity happening. So make sure all the wires are not going all crazy there, Capricorns. So to be very aware, and I'm trying to think what other ways. It also to your nervous system. So make sure you are grounded. Ground yourself, please. Okay. All right. Let's move along. We have Aquarius. These changes, Aquarius, are happening in your 10th house of work. Okay. Could be your a um, a boss is leaving. Okay, or things dealing with your father figure or an authority figure in your life. All right. So those adjustments need to be made and maybe need to be there more for that authority figure. And then you have also too is the way you're displaying yourself publicly and adjusting to that, and also being aware of how you want to be seen by the public. And so we have Mars retrograde in your 11th house. Maybe this is all happening because you're going back and readjusting certain goals that you had, certain themes. And because that is adjusting, you're also adjusting how you're being displayed in public. For an example, my moon is in Aquarius, and I know that I have deleted certain modalities, healing modalities that I don't no longer work with, and so I'm changing my public display of my, or I'm having it changed my web page. Okay, so that is an example. All right, and because of that, my webmaster guy is now kind of like my supervisor advising me. So there's a new person there too, okay? So that's just an example, Aquarius. And then we have Venus, Uranus conjunct in the third house. So all of a sudden we're getting something of, could be of communications, maybe a new phone, uh, car, dealings with your siblings or your cousins. Um, New communications going on, but things that is going to allow you to express yourself, maybe a new sing class, or you're going to take another primary class, or even teach a class. Okay, so now moving on, we got Pisces. I think this pen is at its end. Okay, Pisces, so I'm trying to warm this up. Let me start with you already here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Pisces is full moon is happening in your ninth house of belief systems, long distance travels, higher education, your connection with the universe and source, your crown chakra, and how you feel connected to everything. And so you are realizing that things are not so just right here. There's so much more involved. Sometimes you get very moody and emotional because you're just focused on the right here as opposed to seeing everything out there, okay? Anything, so it's not about you. It's really about everything else. And once you realize that, then you see what role do you want to play within it all. Then you put yourself into it. Okay, Mars is retrograde in your 10th house, and career stuff is going on there, and how you're displaying yourself publicly, you're going back to a certain way and reconsidering certain situations. You thought you knew certain things, but you're finding out that you might need to reevaluate your goals, okay, especially because you have Venus and Uranus conjunct in your second house of finances. So, either you're taking a pay cut or you're getting more, but it's sudden, or you're going to be selling certain things. You're letting go of outdated values and belief systems that are no longer helping you. They were great, okay? And I use the example that the certain clothes that I wore when I was 6 years old is no longer going to serve me now. Either one, because my taste has changed. I have grown. I have either by girth, width, or by height. Just I have no need for it, But the same thing with belief systems and ideals and our values and what we have been taught no longer suit us all the time. Okay? Yet sometimes we keep that one piece of clothing because it reminds us of something. All right? And something that we thought special or an occasion. And it brought a lot of positive energy. So, I just said that I still have my first communion dress in here. Yes, I'm an ordained minister, but not of Catholicism. And I just thought about how maybe it's time for me to let that go. So that's an example of Pisces. Sometimes we hold on things, we're like, oh, maybe I should because it represents this and that. Considering that I'm in a different stage of my life, I think, it's a good example of what things that we might want to let go that are no longer for us. Anyway, this has been Nereida La Sirena with Celestial Soul Wellness, CSW. You can find me on Facebook under La Sirena Nereida and under Sirena's Wellbeing. I know I have all these different names. We're trying to link it all together, okay? And so ah, we shall. And so please stay tuned for the second part of our program, okay? When we talk about the health, the tarot cards, our chakras, yoga, and a wonderful meditation, okay? So, chasito.